Gregory, this is the Global Digest think tank group. You know, once we hear from different expertise, we know about the regional issue and country issue. Russia or Belarus, I never talk with them, so we don't know what is their opinion and their situation. So, no speaking, people will see they are wrong or they are something wrong. So that's why sharing discussion is important to clarify things around us. Recently, since last year, there was conflict in Europe, Ukraine, Russia conflicts. How did you see, as your neighbor country, what is the original issue of this conflict? Please, before that, why don't you briefly introduce to our audience?
I work as deputy director of Radio Belarus International. This is international broadcast. We have programs in 9 languages and broadcast all over the world via satellite, via internet, and also we actively use our YouTube channel. So we're trying to inform our audience about foreign internal policy of the Republic of Belarus, our international relations, as well as our ties with the neighboring countries and what Belarus is advocating for our foreign policy, and how do we see our role in this multipolar world.
Right. So how is your Belarus foreign policy and how did you deal with Ukraine and Russia?
We have, at least until the events in Ukraine, we have strived to promote, to advocate a multipolar foreign policy and try to keep friendly relations with all countries all over the world. This is our main principles and this is our key target. We didn't create any problems for any state, and we try to we want to be treated as well in the same way. But unfortunately, after the conflict in Ukraine, we see that we have to choose our friends, our relations, and with whom we will build up relations, and all these Western sanctions, they have us to reverse our foreign policy principles, our foreign trade, and we now have very close relations with Russia as usual, but they are becoming even better after all these troubles we are passing through together. We have increased our ties with the so-called countries of far away countries, such as representatives of Global South, Asia. China is one of the most influential and greatest partners. Africa is our priority. So we have to enter the new markets, to find new partners, and to build our new foreign policy based on principles of mutual understanding, mutual respect, and of course, we have to confront all these coercive measures imposed by Western countries, by the United States of America. It is not a secret that they try to strangle our economy of Russia, but we succeeded to overcome all these misfortunes, all these troubles, and we increase our trade with Russia, with Africa, with the countries of Global South, with China. And one figure that eloquently states that we have survived all these troubles is that our trade surplus since the beginning of this year is plus $370 million.
I see.
Comparatively, maybe it's not so much, but the fact that it's plus is quite significant because we have to overcome all these economic misfortunes.
right. I mean, Western countries sanction because simply Russia occupation of Ukraine, the conflict with Ukraine. That's the reason they said they are sanctioned, including Russia and all related to Russia uh, supporter, something like that. That maybe affect Belarus too because of you support Russia. That's Western countries sanction. That is one thing, and a lot of human rights violation and abuse and uh, in no sense civilian people die. Nobody want to see that happen, including Africa, Europe, Asia. They don't want human destruction in anywhere, any place. So that is clear. So why the origin of conflict? Why Russia has to invade Ukraine? How do you see as Belarus position?
Mhm. As we take it here, Russia was provoked to start its military operation against Ukraine because after Maidan 10 years ago, Ukraine is being used as an anti-Russia platform. That is, they are promoting Nazi ideology, they pumping it with weapons, and they're hated against Russia. So the conflict, in the nature of the conflict lies deeper in confrontation between Russia and the United States, and there's no doubt that America uses, no, as we see here in Belarus, uses Ukraine as a proxy country to defeat Russia, to take it under control, but they failed, and the recent events at battlefield show that all these efforts are failing, and Russia is winning on the ground, and we see that even the United States doubt their support they provided for Ukraine, and it seems that they want to wash the hands of the situation. But of course, the problem and the conflict is much deeper, and the general task of this special military operation is Ukraine. It's to change their country's behavior in general, to create so-called friendly infrastructure, friendly nature around our countries in different regions, to change this so-called rules-based order. I guess that nobody knows what are these rules and who instituted these rules and how to judge which country is more democratic and the other is less democratic. The position of the Republic of Belarus is that this conflict should be ended only at the negotiations table, and we offer our venues for discussions, for dialogue. Since the very beginning of their offensive, we held sittings of the so-called group that discussed the situation around Ukraine. But as we see, Ukraine doesn't want to talk to Russia, and Vladimir Zelensky, they signed a decree that is banning him from any talks on this matter. But principal position of the Republic of Belarus is that there might be a peaceful solution to the conflict, and as we see, Russian President Vladimir Putin has the same stance, and Russia is not against peaceful talks, and they offer and announced this several times. But unfortunately, we see that it is going to be the battle to the last Ukrainian soldier, because they have significant losses on battlefield, and it's really hard to even predict how this situation would evolve, as they suffer very severe and very difficult
Right.
to.
Many innocent people died.
Unfortunately, this is the main problem. and this conflict should be stopped immediately.
Right. As you
There is a lack of political will, unfortunately, on the other side.
right. So as you mentioned, 10 years ago, Maidan coup and Ukraine political changes. That is a social political issue. It's an independent country, sovereign country, Ukraine or Belarus or all social politics will be decided by their own people. Belarus will decide what political direction or what social political situation by yourself. And same in Ukraine, they did their own political, social direction. That Russia claim it's a dangerous or it's a unfavorable behavior for Russia. That hypothesis, hypothesis and the real security threat or danger we have to a little bit distinguish, and we have to make clear line, because a hypothesis can be many things. It's unlimited hypothesis. You can say France is uh, it's a danger for Belarus or UK danger. You can say hypothesis, but the real life, the real things may be different. So far, Russia have a hypothesis on Ukraine that if that may attack or invade Ukraine it's not a good reason and not good way to act, because otherwise it can be easy to violate by many countries, especially super power country and bigger country can do any kind of hypothesis and invade anybody, any country nearby them. It is very bad example, very dangerous hypothesis by any country. That is so far. I don't know well because I don't know about Europe politics and geopolitics. As you said, Russia was worried about that case since 10 years ago. European society, there's not much different in terms of social religion and all different context. Also, Russia also involved in Asia, like in Burma, Myanmar. They send a lot of weapons and a lot of support to military coup in Myanmar, and they are, with the help of Russia, assistant them military dictator. They kill many civilians, including a lot of Christian, and they destroy churches. That I don't know Russia aware or not. Because of their support, many Christian also die in Myanmar. So these are a lot of effect. It can happen if something wrong in policy or foreign policy.
Oh, the main principles of Christianity, the key point is not don't kill, and it states that all nations should live in peace and harmony. And of course, if you want to know the position of Christian Church towards this conflict, this is the war. This is the war against our society, and what the Christian Church is doing now. The priests, the believers, they are united because they know that this is the global battle, global confrontation, and we are praying for those who are dying, who are injured, of course, but there is no option. There was no option to stop this war, and if Russia didn't attack Ukraine, it might be even worse, because we are witnessing that our neighboring countries are weaponizing, and I could say that they are arming themselves at a rapid rate. For example, Poland's military budget is growing by leaps and bounds, and looks to reach almost 40% of GDP next year. This is a huge amount. So they are placing their troops along the border with Belarus and Russia. And despite the fact that we admitted and we stated several times, our president declared that we are not going to attack anyone, as well as the Russian president. We are not bloodthirsty. We want peace, and I guess that Christian Church, they understand the position of our governments, and all they are doing, they're trying to boost the spirit of our servicemen, of those soldiers who are fighting on the front, and to make the losses less grievous for all these families who have to deal with the consequences of this conflict. So all we need to do is to stay together, to strengthen our faith, and trying to preserve the best values of human beings, not to roll down to even more bloody confrontation. This is the main principles, the key idea.
You know, Christian principle is very good. In fact, it's a liberal ideology. You know, freedom of religion, freedom of people, freedom of society, you know, to promote human rights, a lot of human rights. You know, if your country increase in human rights, a lot of political, economic, social, human rights, it's better democracy. And it's more freedom political, more people selected leaders, selected government. Maybe there will be less dictator governments and leaders if we have more freedom, more human rights. That Christian society supposed to do that. And that's why liberal democracy means more freedom, more developed, more free society. But if opposite to that, it will be more dictator and a lot of abuses and, you know, authoritarian. Russia is increasing now, authoritarian and abusing, and a lot of even Russian people, ordinary people, run away to abroad. A lot of Russia people also came to Asia. You know, there are many. You can see how's the situation in Russia too. So that we can measure how democracy, which one is better. Maybe Ukraine, as you said, how to measure Ukraine want to be more liberal democracy, more freedom, or more human rights. That's maybe against Russia interest, or I don't know, Russia want more authoritarian style or one party style, or how's Russia direction. That, I mean, anyway, Ukraine is sovereign state. They have to decide in terms of social political, you know, that it's not necessary Russia can make hypothesis for its security or danger. It's then some misunderstanding by Russian leadership or the political calculation. It can be also mistake. It can happen conflict, you know. How did you see Russia behavior?
You know, if we are going to talk about relations of Russia, Belarus with its close neighbors, you mean Poland, Lithuania, Ukraine. Unfortunately, they are taking Russia and Belarus as their enemies, and they are having quite a hostile policy towards our country. I don't know that. I don't think that this is in their national interest, because they are very much influenced by the United States there, and they are their main allies, and they are providing the policy that is being being voiced from Washington. Our president, I could say on behalf of Belarus, extended so-called olive branch by offering Poland to start negotiations, and he ordered the head of the government, Roman Lovchenko, to call Polish premier before the election in Poland, and to find ways to start negotiations and to sit and to discuss their problems of mutual concern, but we received no response. As well as Baltic states, there, you know, so much anti-Russia, anti-Belarus position there. I don't know why, because there is no ground for it. We are trying to pursue our national interests and to promote our national ideas, and we are not going to create any problems for our neighboring countries.
Right.
Contrary, we are trying to increase our bilateral economic, political ties, cultural programs, and we had very close relations with Poland, Lithuania before the conflict. Lithuania is our neighboring country, and we could travel. We managed to travel there without any problems. It's just 3 hours on bus from Minsk, and Poland as well. We went there now, but also our so-called, you know, transborder cooperation, transborder trade flourished, but now everything is down. The trade declined, and also economic ties are collapsed. Well, you mentioned democracy. I could repeat that again, once again, that there is no any single standard of which country is more democratic, which is less democratic. All we have, we are protecting our internal policy, our values, because we have elections. We had elections in Russia and Belarus. Of course, there are groups of people that are not agree with the results. It's normal situation. We have a position. We have people who have another thinking, but there is a law. There is a necessity to protect the law, and we are doing everything that any other foreign country does to when it comes to protection of its stability of its laws. If you look at the United States, or if you look at the European countries, all these manifestations against the results of elections all over the European region and all over the world, they are suppressed. So there is no another, I guess, another solution how to protect the sovereignty of the country except for using force. If there are if there are people who want to violate the laws and who want to break and to topple down the government, because they see with regard to Belarus. Our position, they saw that there are no legal way, they have no potential to win this election that were held not long ago, I mean presidential elections. So they start to use these sharp technologies, stirring up public opinion. They moved people to the streets, trying to show that there are a lot of our citizens who are not agree with the policy, with the decisions that are taken by the government, by the president. But I could assure you that here in Belarus, the majority of population support the president, support the course, and the decisions that are being taken. And after even this troubles, the popularity of the president is significantly increasing. So this indicates that we are on the right path and we are moving in the right direction. And we are doing our best just to protect ourselves, our small country, in between large blocks, large such empires, as I say, Russia from one hand, the European Union from the other hand, and we want to ensure that it would be a stable place, a place without wars, a place without any other confrontations. So this is our main principle.
Right. Academic point of view, there are different layer of liberal democracy. I mean, there are some electoral democracy, and liberal democracy is the highest. They promote the best human right and development and all kind of people interest. I mean, example, there are many democracy, they are not liberal, they just electoral minimum democracy. So in academic field, you can see different kind of democracy. And there should be also at least check and balance, not only one party or one leader controlling the country. There should be at least opposition. They should be able to turn over, people as a sociology, people as social being, people always, they don't desire to be only one man or one person all the time. People like changing and different things, different idea. That is a human being, and they are human being as social life, so that is a nature of human being. So I don't know, when is your Belarus election, and is there a chance for opposition to become any government?
Next year we are going to have parliamentary elections, and in 2025 we have, according to the latest decree, we're going to have presidential elections. So now opposition leaders, they fled Belarus, they live in exile, Lithuania, Poland, all over the world. But I don't think that they enjoy a great popularity in Belarus, and they have a very huge mistake. I guess they chose wrong position, wrong ideology, because the only thing they are calling for is sanctions against Belarus, against their own population, and this is the fact that is absolutely not expected, not welcomed in Belarusian society, because they see that just another package of sanctions aimed at strangling our economy, aimed at to harm incomes of ordinary people. So this policy is not accepted in our society. We organized after all these manifestations and social disbalance. We organized so-called dialogue platforms where everyone had a chance to offer its views or ideas how the country could develop, and we collect ideas all over the country, and I guess that opposition leaders, representatives of those who oppose the decision-making process, they had a chance also to send or to write all these proposals, but they were not interested in this dialogue. So they chose the path of confrontation, and they think that this is effective strategy because they receive fundings for such a position. But population here absolutely don't like this approach, and I don't think that they have many supporters in the country, because after all this rallies, people understood who is who, and they saw the real nature of our position, that they are these people there, I mean Svetlana Tikhanovskaya and many others, they are under influence of Washington or US, and they are not ensuring the real independence.
Yes, I agree with some point in terms of corruption, about some opposition can get from Western country donor to get some financial assistance. It can make corruption. That sometimes it happen. I mean, even one opposition flat, there should be a chance another person to be opposition, and there should be rule and regulation and safety of opposition party, and freedom of election, freedom of organizing campaign in Belarus. So you have only one opposition. There is no alternative opposition, and there are no chance for any changes in Belarus if the people want to do so.
We had a quite diverse party system in Belarus before 2020. I guess there were, maybe I could be mistaken, but there were dozens of different parties, but most of them existed only on paper. They were so-called fake parties of different.
They cannot do activity. They cannot.
No, they were not. They started to do something even before electoral campaigns. In other periods, they were quiet and they did nothing, especially. So they just we try to ensure that everyone had equal rights to be elected as MPs or even a president. But many of these parties, they had a destructive position, and we try to organize this process in some way, and there was a process of re-registration of political parties, and I could say that not many of them remain active. There's 5 or 6 parties. They express different ideology, because there are for some Liberal Democratic Party, Communist Party. They even say that they are in opposition, but in so-called constructive opposition to the government. But we don't have this radical opposition as we used to have before. And I don't think that this is a problem, because their ideas and their method of work are quite doubtful. Belarus is an Orthodox country. Orthodox religion is the main branch of religion, because this is historically motivated. Another biggest confession is Catholic. and this is a quite significant part of our society. They live mostly in western regions such as Grodno and Brest, close to the Polish and Lithuanian border. And they have a quite good relations, to tell you the truth. They even organize joint roundtables, organize different religious events, festivals. They work together, and this is our key achievement that we.
What about in Russia? What about in Russia? Christianity, how
The same. It's an Orthodox country, and they have even less quantity of Catholic population. It's the majority of population in Russia are Orthodox. So they remain Christians despite all this situation on the front, despite the conflict. They understand that they protect their land, they protect their statehood in general, and I could repeat once again that if Russia didn't attack, it would lead to unbelievable consequences for the whole of our regions, because they carefully examined all the situation that preceded this special military
operation. It's a hypothesis. It's too much hypothesis, isn't it? Okay, Grigory, thank you very much today. We can talk next time.
My pleasure.
Nice to meet you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.